Well, the House has voted to launch a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. The resolution passed along party lines, 221 to 212. The three GOP-led committees have been investigating the president and his son Hunter for months. The White House recently stating subpoenas issued as part of the investigation were illegitimate without a formal inquiry. So a formal inquiry was then launched. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer made it clear that President won't necessarily be impeached as a result. So what are lawmakers hoping to gain from this latest political move? Joining us now to discuss is our very own Rick Newman, alongside James Carville, who is the political strategist and host of the Politics War Room podcast. Great to have you both here with us today. James, I'll go to you first. What are they looking to achieve by an impeachment inquiry and proceeding, perhaps?
Well, they asked some dope congressman from Texas what they'll achieve, and he said Donald J. Trump in 2024, baby. So that's about the depth of the reason behind this idiocy. And these people are just not very talented and not very smart. And my own theory is the more they're out there, the better it is for Democrats.
Hey, James, what is the political calculation here for these Democrats? So it seems like they are trying to distract attention from Donald Trump, who's in these 4 criminal cases. Is there any chance that's going to work?
You mean the strategy of the Republicans, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they have to keep they have their base, and they have to keep feeding that monster, and they don't have I don't know. There's absolutely no connection to President Biden to any of this. There hasn't been one single shred of evidence that connects him. So we're going to have a hearing to determine that Hunter Biden engaged in some questionable activity. Gee, what a surprise. Knocking me over with a feather.
James, is all of this just about the re-election in 2024? And when you take into account maybe some of the expectations here, what the Republicans are hoping is going to happen as a result of this, is that just totally unrealistic?
I think it's about they haven't done anything. There's no prospect they're going to do something. And I think when they go back home, they got to say, we did something and we voted to open an impeachment inquiry. I think that's what's at the core of all of this. And also what, as I repeated, what this idiot congressman said, Donald J. Trump in 2024, baby. I mean, I don't think it's really complicated.
James, let's telescope out from this. Putting this whole thing aside about impeachment, I mean, President Biden is struggling anyway. I mean, polls show in some cases he's losing to Donald Trump in those swing states that are going to determine the winner in 2024. Now, obviously, polls 11 or 12 months ahead of time don't tell you everything. What can Biden do, though, to improve his standing among swing voters in swing states?
Well, I've been troubled. I mean, I'm pretty public that these poll numbers are troubling. The theory is, I mean, if you look at the economic stuff here and watch Yahoo, the income numbers are starting to be a little more robust, and the hope is that this recovery gets stronger. Attitudes will change, but right now they're not very good. There's no way to spin this any other way. Then these pollings are quite alarming at this point.
Well, James, why do you think there is this disconnect, right? Because when you take a look at the data that we've gotten recently, it has shown that we have gotten a better handle on inflation. The jobs market has remained much more resilient than many of the forecasters had anticipated, yet President Biden is still struggling in the polls. Why do you think that is, and how much of this is just a messaging problem?
Well, the answer is no one knows for sure. What concerns me the most is age might be an opaque factor that a lot of the public can't see beyond that. I don't know how you prove that to be true. And maybe it just takes a while because inflation took such or cost of living took such a bite out of people that it takes a while for it to catch up. That could also be true. But the precise reason behind this remains unknown to right now.
And so, James, just lastly, while we have you, you think about some of the other kind of shadow campaigns that are being running for that potential party nomination. Should age be so much of a factor that each party says, okay, we should not have Trump as our figurehead. And then ultimately, for the Democrats as well, if age is a considerable factor and Joe Biden only running because Trump is running again, then is there another type of ticket or matchup that we could be set for in 2024?
Well, one thing we know for certain, the public does not like this choice. They're very clear. I think it's over 70% would like to have a different choice. And, you know, that's 334 million people in America. And people say, well, we can't come up with two people to run for president under the age 75. I don't know, but that you can look at poll after poll that the public would prefer a different choice. Now, what I'm told by people smarter than me, well, this is the choice you got, so live with it. And at some point that may be the case. But it's clear that this is not a choice that the American public wants to make.
James, as you know, it's the economy, stupid. Is there anything a president can do to persuade voters that the economy is better than they think it is?
It's the most difficult question in politics, honestly, because if you try to take credit for a good economy and people don't feel it, then they think you're clueless. I can't tell you the awful economic predictions that is made by the economic forecasting community, frankly, a lot of it on this network over the past year about how things are going to be bad and how disastrous it was and, recession waiting to happen. And maybe some of that filtered down to people. But I can't think of an industry that has a worse track record than economic forecasting had this year, honestly. I mean,
pollsters in 2016.
James Carville, it's always great to get your insight here. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us here this morning. And I have a feeling we are going to be talking to you a heck of a lot here over the next 12 months. James, thanks.
Thank you very much. I hated to be mean, but I had to get to dig in.